ecosystem approach to aquaculture is about ecosystem sustainability, but it's about more than that. It's about the roles that people have in the ecosystem, harmonising these roles, and also looking at social equity. That's the ability for people to make a living in the system without doing it any harm.
And it focuses on three key things. The first one is that what you do in terms of growing fish or shellfish has to be done in balance with the rest of the ecosystem. The second one is that it is good for people and balanced and equitable, so you're taking into account the way that people can get their money from the industry. And lastly, it has to understand that other uses exist in a system, and therefore you need to combine and harmonise aquaculture with the various other things that go on. That can be anything from natural parks to shipping and so on and so forth.
It's very important because aquaculture needs to expand, and it needs to expand in Europe. At the moment, it's a great difficulty. There's a lot of squeeze in the coastline. People seem to be negatively focused towards aquaculture, but we need more aquaculture if we want fish on our plate in the future.
We need to recognize that aquaculture is a human activity next to other human activities in the marine environment. And currently, marine spatial planning is a way forward that tries to coordinate the management of different human activities in space and time. And this is something that happens all across Europe. So we need to consider now to learn how we can include the aquaculture sector in this broader, more integrative management of human activities in European waters.
How to utilize the space, the marine space, is actually one of the key issues if you want to develop European aquaculture.
My belief is that sustainable use of the coastal zone comes through proper planning, because there are many people that want to use the coastline, many industries, groups, businesses, etc. And so really there's a planning process in the same way that we do land use planning.
The coastline is used for a lot of different purposes: tourism, people want to live there, energy production and so on. And most of those sectors are more mighty than the aquaculture industry.
So it is important to study how those new activities could conflict, or to make decision supporting tools and develop those tools to minimize conflicts and to optimize the location of those activities.
A key feature of our AquaSpace process is the use of case studies. We've got 16 in the project from across Europe, both marine and freshwater, but we're also lucky enough to have case studies in Canada, in North America, in China and Australia, and that should give us a tremendous diversity of different issues and problems to cope with and lessons to learn.
We will work on a freshwater case study, especially in Hungary, but also in Eastern and Central European countries.
I think it's important that we can gather some information from the various areas where we have succeeded in developing aquaculture and see how we can develop it in a smarter way.
One important thing is really that the work should be done in close involvement of the stakeholders, just to be sure that the work is done in co-construction.
The AquaSpace project involves us dealing with the real issues faced by stakeholders like planners and fish farmers as they try to manage the development of this industry.
I think this project is essential because there are a lot of pressures on the coastal areas, on the coastal zone, and we really need to develop some rational tools that are based on the best knowledge.
I am particularly interested in AquaSpace because I think that we will produce practical and operational toolboxes that are going to be very useful for marine spatial planning purposes and specifically for aquaculture development.
One of the things I'm looking forward to in the AquaSpace project is just looking at how the different cultures and the different attitudes towards aquaculture vary across Europe and in the wider world.
AquaSpace has got this huge challenge then of trying to find optimal ways of increasing the areas that are available to deal with this increase in production. And if we don't do that, Europe is now producing something like 2% of the world's aquaculture, and we face a very, very serious challenge in terms of supplying our children with food in the future.
Another thing I'm looking forward to is actually producing real solutions for real people, so that at the end of the project we'll leave something that people can really use.
What excites me about this project is the focus on maritime spatial planning. There's increased pressure on our coasts from lots of industries, but if we plan carefully, I think we can make room for all of them